Greetings, Mid-Coast Ukers. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. I'd like to talk about the circle progression today. The circle progression is used in an awful lot of music. It goes way, way back. You first heard it in Baroque music like Bach and Handel, but today we know it as the chord progression to I Will Survive, to Those Were the Days, You Never Give Me Your Money by the Beatles, and so many other songs. It's one of the most popular progressions. It really has an appeal to it. The reason they call it the circle progression is it goes around this circle of chords. And let me explain theory-wise what that means. When we go from, say, an A minor chord to a D minor chord, those two chords are a certain distance apart. They're actually a fourth apart. A, B, C, D, 4 notes. And then that D chord, G minor in this case, it ends up going to G. Well, that's 4 apart too. So you have D, E, F, G, 4 notes away. So it's this perfect cycle. Every single chord is about 4 notes away from the chord before it. And that creates this really strong motion. It really pushes the chord progression forward and gives it a lot of momentum. And so the circle progression is used in hundreds of songs. I'll list some more later. You probably recognize lots of these when I talk about them. At the beginning, I wasn't really playing a song. I was just kind of emulating 2 songs that use it. I did sort of a version of You Never Give Me Your Money by the Beatles from Abbey Road. And also did a tiny little bit of Fly Me to the Moon. Most of you know that song probably from Frank Sinatra singing it, but lots of people have sung it. And that's one that maybe in Mid-Coast Ukes will do. That's a pretty easy song. I think we could handle that. And Those Were the Days, that Mary Hopkins tune from way back. That was requested. Some of the members of the group have expressed a desire to do that song, so we probably will take that song on at a certain point. But that uses that progression too. So what exactly is the circle progression? Let's get right into it. So you're using, in this case, we're in the key of C. We have the chords A minor to kick it off with. And what is A minor in the key of C? Well, let's check it out. C, D, E, F, G, A. 6. It's chord number 6. It's the 6th chord, the 6th minor chord. D minor is the 2 minor chord. G7 is the 5 chord, right? C, D, E, F, G. 5 fingers, 5 chord. And C is the 1 chord. So that half of it is very easy. It's the 6 chord going to the 2 chord, going to the 5 chord, going to the 1 chord. We actually talked about part of this progression before when we talked about 2-5-1s. That is contained within this. The D minor G7 C part is a 2-5-1. All right. So let's go further. If you're doing I Will Survive, you would use these same chords again, but you'd probably do it in more of a disco kind of feel, a lot faster. Maybe something like this. Just has a different feel, but it's essentially the same progression as Those Were the Days. So once you get a handle on the progression, you start to be able to hear it and recognize it, or just be aware of it, so when you're playing a song it's easier to play. You see patterns, you see a little more predictability to it. So once you get the basics down of this chord progression, you can play it well in a couple of keys, and you understand what it sounds like. You can kind of see the pattern in it. That's going to help you learn songs a lot faster. You'll not have to look at each and every chord individually and always take things on a measure by measure basis, but you can see the big picture, and that really helps. When you can see the big picture, you learn songs faster, you understand what you're hearing better, and it just totally improves your musicianship. So I highly recommend that you study this circle progression. Let's do one more. Let me pick one from my list here. So I'll read off actually a couple of titles just for kicks, so you can see how important this chord progression is. We talked about I Will Survive, Those Were the Days, You Never Give Me Your Money. That song Autumn Leaves, jazz standard, that is this progression. We said Fly Me to the Moon, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John, yet another one. When are you gonna land? Listen to my old man. Maybe you need a replacement. So Elton John knew the value of a good chord progression when he heard one. Killing Me Softly, you know that song, I'm sure, from the 70s, Roberta Flack. My Love, Paul McCartney, he did that with Paul McCartney and Wings, his solo thing. You've got the theme to MASH, remember that TV show, MASH? Da 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 da. There's the circle progression once again. That movie Arthur with Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli, the theme song to that, Even the Nights, no, that's Air Supply, sorry, but Best That You Can Do by Christopher Cross. So there's so many, I even confuse them sometimes, they're so similar. Unbreak My Heart, that's more of a modern song, that was like a 90s song by Toni Braxton, R&B singer. Let's see, Still Have the Blues for You, that was a Gary Moore thing. Gary Moore was a great British guitar player who had this really, his one hit in the whole world was a song called Still Have the Blues for You, and that chord progression is based on the circle progression. So it's very effective, and the more aware of it you are, like I was saying, the easier it's going to be for you to learn songs, to understand songs, and even write songs. If you're a songwriter, you have a killer chord progression to work with. Alright, so let's end this by playing this one together. I'll tell you the chords. It's A minor, D minor, G7, C. Then we want to do D minor, E7, and A minor, and then A minor again. That's the whole thing. 8-bar chord progression. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again. Have it, the circle progression. Lots of music. I will make a list available so that you can see some of the tunes I didn't mention, some of the classical music pieces that we didn't necessarily go over in this particular lesson, but hopefully you get the idea. And I'll provide links too. I'm actually going to put YouTube links so you can listen to each and every song that I have in my list, and that'll really drive this point home. So as always, feel free to ask questions. If anything theory-wise didn't make sense, or if you didn't catch some of these chords, I'll help you out. There's not going to be really any handouts or PDF files or anything to download, but I'm glad to provide you with those if you need any help understanding this very important chord progression. All right, mid-coast Euchers, you take care. Bye-bye.